Hey, I'd like to start just real quick. As you see, dreams and visions.
And
Dreams become visions. Visions become goals. Clearly written, defined, and executed goals become reality. My name is Karl Fryburg, and I'm known as the Goal Manifestation Guru because I help you turn your dreams and visions into reality. One of the things that I'm really excited about and most proud of is the recent launch of my actual online course that goes along with my second book, which is Goal Setting Simplified, where I take the process of goal setting and I break it down into bite sized pieces over the course of about 5 days so that it does not become overwhelming. Um, in the next couple hours that I have here to share with you all, I'm gonna I'm gonna burn through what I call the 12 ways to simplify your goal setting journey to keep this kind of moving and fun and lighthearted because you'll find in my readings and my teachings that's just who Karl with a K is. So you have to think about I've kind of there's so much involved with it. That's why I created Goal Setting Simplified, and my next book that's launching in June is going to be Goal Setting Mastery Simplified, where we take what you've learned in the first course and we bring it out into the real world and really dive deep into. There's so many different avenues and places that you can go in the world of goal setting, all the way from losing 5 pounds to buying a Lamborghini. There's just so many different avenues. So first of all, you really have to have a desire, and I like to say you have to have a burning desire. It's got to be something that gets into your heart, into your soul, into your skin, that I want this and I'm going to get this no matter what it takes. And in order to do that, there's a lot of things that come along with those challenges that you're going to face because nothing's ever easy and nothing's ever worth the reward if it didn't take challenges and devotion to get there. So really the second one is believe you can. You have to believe in yourself first. We live in a world of so much. I don't want to go too dark, but darkness and negativity. And you'll find that when you're running in circles like these amazing folks that I'm having the honor of sharing a screen with today, these are the people you want to kind of align yourself with because they're going to say, "Wow, Karl, you can lose those 30 pounds." Instead of, "Oh, you tried that before. You're never going to do that ever. You're just going to try and fail and try and fail." And these are what I call energy vampires, and we want to keep them at bay as far away from us as we possibly can, especially when we're focused on our dreams and visions. So then, of course, what do you got to do next? You got to write them down. Um, I'm a firm believer in journals. I've got journals here, journals next to my bed, journals in my car. You've got to be able to clearly define and write down the direction and the process of what you're going into. And it was interesting. Angie was sharing about what the body and the mind does and how much information that we have going through that we don't even process. Well, there's also a neat little thing called the reticular cortex, and that's like a little pencil-sized thing that's in the back of the brain. Without going into a science lessons, it's kind of the switchboard. It's a lot of people here might not even know what a switchboard is. There used to be a day where they put a plug into a hole, and then they took it out, they plugged it in over this hole so these two people could talk to each other. So your brain is that switchboard, and what happens is when what's in here comes down here to your hand and then goes on to the paper, the mind, the body, and the visual all come together as one. And this is what starts the process of your brain beginning to turn off that clutter that says, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Wow, I really can do this. And that's why written goals are so key. And you can talk to 100 people now, not in these circles. 100 of 100 will be in these circles, but you can go to 100 people and say, "So, do you have goals?" "Oh, of course I have goals." "Great. Where's your journal? Where are they written down?" "Oh, I don't write them down, but I have goals." It's like, no, you don't. If you don't have written goals, you don't have goals. So, moving along, you have to determine your starting point because, in the immortal words of the Chinese philosopher Lu Tao, every journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So you really have to decide whatever it is that you're planning to do. You have to say, okay, I'm going to start today. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start on the 32nd of the month. Anybody paying attention there? The 32nd of the month?
I got you.
Yeah. So you have to determine that. You have to determine your why. Your why kind of goes back to your belief, goes back to your desire. You'll find this a lot in multi-level marketing and network marketing and companies, people that are driving forces that are going for the gusto, whether it's Olympic racers, runners, etc. They have a why. The why is should probably go up to number one and on the list, because without a why, you're just a flounder. You're just flopping around. So, you got to determine your why, and you've got to decide to learn how to say no. I had the blessings of being interviewed by Dean Graziosi at a summit of 18,000 people a couple of years ago when they were doing the virtual summits, because Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi couldn't fill rooms because they weren't allowed. And we talked about time management. Yeah, I actually got a one-on-one with him at this event, and the greatest line I think I've ever heard and that I came away from that event was, first, you have to learn to say no. And second, you have to look at everything that comes at you and you have to say, how does this serve me and my goal and my mission? Now, that might sound a little selfish, but in order to get what you want, sometimes you got to be selfish. And again, back to like the multi-level marketing and network marketing field, which I've had many successes and many challenges where they weren't such successes. I don't like to use the word failure anymore because there's no such thing. Everything has a result. Whether it's a good result or a bad result, there's a result. It's not a failure because you came up with a result. So in the time management thing and saying no, you've got to understand that I'm saying not now. Because if I make these sacrifices today, tomorrow, next month, for the next 6 months, for the next year, the freedom that comes on the other side of that, you're going to be the guy going, hey, you want to go to the concert on Saturday night? Oh, I can't afford that. Hey, you want to go fly over to the Bahamas? Oh, I got to work that day. But that's because for 2 years you said no. And it gives you that freedom. And that freedom is where the rubber hits the road, for lack of a better term. So moving along, because I'm up to, I believe, number 6 at this point, you have to set a deadline, a goal. You can't say, I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to lose 5 pounds when? Today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Make the goals where your brain can understand them and get wrapped around them. You can't be making $50,000 a year and write down a goal that I'm going to make $1,000,000 next year. Your mind just it can't compute that. It doesn't understand. You can say, I'm going to double my income in the next 12 months. I'm going to go from $50,000 to $100,000. That's still a bit of a stretch because the mind typically can process about 30 to 35% of an upgrade of where I am now to where I want to be. The same thing, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. No, start with, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. When you lose 5 pounds, reward yourself for that, losing those 5 pounds, and then say, wow, that was easy. I'm going to go do 10 pounds, because now the body, the brain, the mind, everything is beginning to see this stuff works. And that's the biggest challenge, that you have to train your brain to get it to understand. Then, of course, you need to look at the obstacles, and you have to define those obstacles. What is the problem? And weight gain is just an easy one to talk about. Everybody can relate to it. You know, what are the obstacles? Why didn't I lose those 10 pounds before? Well, I like chocolate too much. Okay, so what do I have to do? All right, I have to eat chocolate 2 days a week to start with instead of 7 days a week. So you have to kind of identify the challenges and the obstacles that are in your way, and then you have to determine what it is that you have to do to move those obstacles forward or away. And that always doesn't happen alone. Again, it was interesting that both of our extraordinary women that began the day was about seek the knowledge. If there's really, the next one would be, let's call it number 8, would be acquire the necessary knowledge. And that is through YouTube, through reading books, through asking up here, asking somebody who's asking the weight guy, the weight loss guru who's done it before. How do you do it? So you need to, and don't be afraid. And sometimes you'll find it's better to go seek the advice of a complete and perfect stranger than your family or your friends. Family, friends. I just heard this from Wayne Dyer recently, and it was one that just cracked me up so bad. He's like, friends is God's way of apologizing for your family.
Nice.
Because at least your friends will support you somewhat more than your family will. But sometimes you're going to find that reaching out to a stranger is going to be a better option because they can't prejudge you on what they know about your past, previous, or future condition that you're in. So that kind of goes when you're talking about the knowledge. The next one is find your help, find the help you need, reach out to those people, say, I can't do this alone. And then, of course, once again, which goes back to the beginning, make a plan. You have to formulate it. The best way to do that is, okay, here's my goal of where I want to be in 1 year. Well, in order for me to be there at that point in 1 year, in 6 months, I have to be here. In 3 months, I have to be here. In 1 month, I have to be here. Today, I have to start doing this to get to tomorrow, to get to the next day. And so it's called reverse engineering. So you take the end result and then you break it down again into bite-sized pieces till you get to the beginning to find those little simple things that you can do to keep moving the needle forward. And then of course visualize. Dreams become visions. And if I got a minute at the end of this, I've got something great I want to share with you from one of my favorite authors. So visualizing is, I see that car, I see that new house. Get the pictures of the car. Don't just say I'm going to buy a black Mercedes. I'm going to buy a black Mercedes with a brown leather interior and red highlights and these types of mag rims and these types of tires, and then go drive that car. Go to the Mercedes dealership. Oh, you're looking for a Mercedes? Yeah, it's going to be about 2 years from now, but I'd like to take one for a drive. They don't care for that much, but they also can't say no. So that's just another one is part of the visualization, and put it on your mirrors, put it on your desk, put it on your walls, everywhere you can see it, in your car. I have a vision board in my garage where I do my shop work because as part of my job is to create and build things, and so I'm constantly looking at what my future looks like when I'm not doing this by looking at my vision board that's right in front of me while I'm doing manual work. And then of course, never give up on your dreams, goals, and visions. If you don't hit the goal in the time frame, it's okay. You take what you've learned, you journal, you make more notes about why did I, again, not fail? Why did I not hit my intended goal? And what do I have to do to get there? Move it out. Don't get in the habit that, oh, well, I'm going to do this goal. And if it doesn't work out, I'll move it out 3 months and I'll try again. Be serious about what you're doing, but just move it out, reset it. So that's kind of the 12 steps. And I think I'm within time if you guys will allow me another minute or so.
Go
So this
for it.
is this is called Visionary. Again, it's from one of my favorite authors. It's going to be out of his upcoming book, Goal Setting Mastery Simplified, and that would be Karl Fryburg. And here it goes. This actually wrote for the Global Vision Conference that I spoke at last month. A visionary, someone who has the ability to imagine something that cannot be seen. A person with the ability to visualize, plan, and anticipate the outcome of a future trend or change that has not yet been discovered. An individual that has a keen sensitivity that surrounds the ability to see something in a future light and inspire and influence others to understand their ability to manifest it. Visionaries are forward thinking, innovative, and creative in nature, and are often essential contributors to major changes and discoveries around the world for the greater good. We see things in a different light than most others and have an internal fire burning inside of us to do whatever it takes to improve the lives of all who we come in contact with and help to make the world a better place. Have a grateful day, Karl with a K.